And is it because you sometimes forget?
Yeah, I mean I get busy, and sometimes I forget to take it. But that's rare.
This entire conversation was AI generated, and it's also interactive. You get to pick the best thing to say and receive feedback on your choice. It's really cool, and it really opens up a whole new world of possibilities for your learning. So in this video, I'll just walk you through my workflow and share some tips I wish I'd known before starting this project. So I started by using MidJourney to create images of a doctor and a patient. I used the Discord version and created my own server, but you can also use the web version if you'd like. I did run into a snag though, because I only created a single pose for each character at first, but it really limited me in terms of what I could do in Runway later on. So my first tip would be to generate full body character sheets beforehand. If you realize you want a different pose later, simply crop one. Adjust the background in MidJourney using the Vary Region button and bring it into Runway. Also, keep in mind that hands are still a problem. Design your shots to not include hands if possible, or it's going to give you grief. With the characters ready, it's time to bring them to life. There are two ways to create videos in Runway. For the scenes without dialogue, you can simply use the text-to-video feature. I used this for the intro and outro scenes as they were fairly simple with just some light camera movement. For the dialogue scenes, I used Act 1. I recorded myself performing the character's text. You don't need a fancy setup, but it will take a few iterations to get it right.
Yeah, most of the time. So what do you think would help you take your meds regularly?
Runway's results depend entirely on the quality of the video and images you upload. If something looks off, you'll need to re-record or adjust your reference image. It's not something you can tweak easily within the tool. There's only one setting that I find makes any real difference: motion intensity. I've found that more intensity generally works better. Getting good results in Runway is going to take a lot of trial and error, so I would directly go with their unlimited plan. Yes, it's a bit pricey, but compared to something like Beyond, it's only barely more expensive and gives you far more creative freedom. Then I moved on to editing in DaVinci Resolve. There, I separated the audio from the video files in order to upload them to ElevenLabs. Now, I'll be honest, ElevenLabs gave me a lot of trouble. The standard English model had a tendency to hallucinate words or phrases that I didn't say.
And can you share how you've been managing your meditation lately?
At first I thought this was because of my French accent, but I had an American test it, and it still hallucinated the same way. I then switched to the multilingual model, and it fixed the problem. Once I had the audio from ElevenLabs, I replaced the audio tracks in my video editor. One trick I found helpful was slightly increasing the speed of my videos. Somewhere between 105 and 120 made the videos feel a lot more natural and less AI generated. Since I'm creating a branching scenario video, I had to break my project into a lot of smaller videos. This meant being extra careful with how each clip starts and ends, making sure they flow seamlessly into one another so that the final product feels like one single video. To make the video interactive, I used Articulate Storyline. Honestly, the only reason I'd subject myself to this is because it's the standard tool in eLearning. That said, it's bad. It's also incredibly expensive, and there is no monthly plan. So if you're not required to use Storyline, I'd recommend going with something else. Construct, for example, is a great alternative, but just anything else. At this stage, all you really need are buttons and branching logic so users can interact with the patient and make their choices. And that's basically it. So is it perfect? No. It takes a lot of trial and error to get good results. But honestly, so does animating stick figures and beyond. That said, I was blown away by how good it can be, the textures, the camera movements, the lip syncing. It's really good. One thing to keep in mind is that aiming for hyper-realistic visuals is like playing on hard mode. If you're okay with Pixar-style figures, go for it. It's easier, it's more forgiving, and it still looks amazing. AI tools have opened a whole new level of creative freedom. We're no longer boxed in by the limits of traditional e-learning tools.